Hey guys, what's up? It's Donnie again. I got another cool little haul for you. Now, most of my hauls recently have been kind of older hauls that I've kept separated and put off to the side. And then I get to it. This one's actually a newer haul. I got this maybe a month or so ago. This is a really awesome haul. Got a lot of really clean copies of records, first pressings, a lot of Stones stuff. Before I get into the actual haul, they got all these records except for this first one at one place. Now, this first record that I have here, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory to it. So, a few years ago, I went to a couple of these record sales that this guy was having, and I actually made a couple of videos about the sales, and they were always really awesome. I always got a ton of really awesome records for really good prices, and there was always a lot of Stones stuff there because this guy was really into the Stones. And for a while we were emailing back and forth talking about the Stones and records and everything. He told me about this one Stones record that I should look out for, actually a first pressing of the album Hot Rocks, which is like a greatest hits kind of thing. The Hot Rocks, I think, is their best-selling album, so it's not uncommon to find a copy of Hot Rocks. But for a little bit at the very beginning, Hot Rocks was actually pressed with two alternate versions of songs. It was a mispress. They didn't mean to include these versions on there, and it's with, I believe, Brown Sugar and Wild Horses. These alternate versions, I believe, were only ever available on these first pressings of Hot Rocks. There's a way you can find these. If you look at the side 4 date that's written in the matrix, if it's a certain date, then it signifies basically that it is this first pressing, and it will have those alternate versions. And so I was looking for the album for years, and I looked at probably 50 different copies of Hot Rocks to try to find this pressing, and I was not able to. And I mentioned it to him recently, and I was talking to him, and he basically just said, keep looking for it. But he mentioned that when I graduated college, I told him about a year and a half ago at this point, and he said that he had a graduation present for me that he actually set aside that he forgot to ship out to me. Now, when I emailed him about this album, he told me that just seeing my email reminded him that he still has that present for me. And so he shipped it out, and that's what came in the mail. This is that first pressing of Hot Rocks, and I was so pumped to get this in the mail. I was just so blown away that he would have, sent this to me for free, So yeah, this was super amazing to get in the mail, and I just wanted to say thank you so much because this was an amazing gift. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. And now we will start off in this haul. With most of my hauls, I try to just not, like when I get a record and I record a video, usually I'll clean it and I will re-sleeve it and I put it in a new plastic sleeve, and often a new paper sleeve and everything, make it clean. Usually when I do hauls, I don't do that. I don't do it beforehand. This haul, there's a lot of really nice albums, and I just really wanted to, put the new sleeves and everything on right away. For most of these, some of them I think still have the old sleeves on it, but yeah. So this first one, here's a nice Stones album. This is Between the Buttons by the Rolling Stones, and this is an original US pressing in the shrink still, so it's in a really, really nice shape. It's mono, and it has the original hype sticker on there, and also the price tag. Cool. So somebody paid $1.99 for this, actually, and it's on the red London label, but so that's really awesome. There's a lot of really, really great records there that were in really, really clean shape. Now here we have the Beatles. I'll take it out of the sleeve for this one. Now this is the Beatles with Tony Sheridan and guests. This is a cool album to get. This is kind of a weird one. It's like early Beatles stuff. It's the Beatles backed Tony Sheridan, so it's just that stuff. There's a few songs with them, and then there's some other ones by other bands. But this is kind of a rare one to find, and so that was cool. Then here is one that I was looking for a long time. I actually messaged the guy who got me the Hot Rocks about if he had a copy of this album that he could give me, and he didn't have any more. But I was looking for this for so long. This is a UK pressing of Aftermath by the Rolling Stones. I actually just posted this on my Instagram account, so if you follow that page, then you will have seen this already. If you don't follow that page and you have Instagram, go check it out. It's at Don Cole Vinyl. Yeah, the cover of this is in really amazing shape. There's some little things wrong with it, but for the most part, it's really, really clean. The record, not so much. The record is a bit scratchy. I would like to get another copy in mono that is in better shape for the record. But Blue Decca label, awesome to get. I was so surprised to get that. I paid $9 for that, I remember. Oh, and for these were all really good prices too. I think this one was probably similarly priced, $9, less than 10. And don't recall how much this one was. Now this one I know was less than 10, probably 7, I think he said. This is an album I actually never saw before, and so I got it just because it looked cool. And I think it's from 1967, yeah. And I love music from 1967. It's awesome. And so I wanted to give this a try, and it was a cool album. This is 10 years after, and I guess this is self-titled. Yeah. Their self-titled album looks really psychedelic. So I thought I would give it a try. It was pretty cool. And then this is one, I don't remember exactly how much I paid for this. I know not very much again. This is a copy of Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones. It's not in the best shape in the world, but it does have the poster. I have a poster with one of my copies of this, but it was ripped. And this is an original posting. I don't want to open it up because it's all sealed, but the poster's in really nice shape. I'll post a picture right here of what it looks like so in case you want to see. But yeah, I basically bought it just for the poster. It's also a really good copy of it, but I already have a few copies of it, so it doesn't really matter. And I'll just take the poster out and put it with my cleanest copy, and then I'll have a really nice, complete copy with the poster. We got another Rolling Stones. This is an original US pressing of 12 by 5. Not in amazing shape. It's in good shape. But I believe I only had a stereo copy of this, and I wanted a mono, which is what this is. So, good to add to my collection of Stones stuff. Another really clean Rolling Stones album. This is Got Live If You Want It by the Rolling Stones. An original US pressing with the hype sticker, recorded live in concert at Royal Albert Hall, London. And again, in the shrink, mono, super nice copy on the London red label. Then here we have not a first pressing, but a early pressing of Bob Dylan's first album, self-titled. Now this is an album that generally does not have the best, doesn't get the best ratings. It's a lot of covers on there, but I think it's still a really great album. Yeah, really awesome. This is on Columbia, original mono. Here we got another Rolling Stones album. Now I have this exact pressing of this album, which is rare, but this is another one that's in really amazing shape. This is Some Girls by the Rolling Stones. A first pressing with the colored bars, without the blurt of the covered over faces, and it's in the shrink with the hype sticker in amazing shape. So that was super crazy to find. And then here we have the Jimi Hendrix Experience Axis Bold as Love. This is another really cool one. This is in really, really great shape. I have a copy of this, and I bought my girlfriend a copy of this, and I have, I think, probably another copy or two of this, maybe, that's in not very good shape. But this is in really great shape, and this is a very first pressing, I believe. with the Tritone Reprise label. This is an awesome album. Check it out. This is awesome to add to my collection. Then here we have a stereo copy of Please Please Me by the Beatles. This is a UK pressing, but not an original pressing. This is like a 70s pressing. And I just wanted it because I only had a original mono pressing of this album. And I know the stereo mixes of these early albums are not very good, but I still wanted to have a stereo copy of it just for the sake of having it on the Parlophone label. So that was cool. This is one I know I paid $9 for this. I know this one was super awesome because I'm more of a Beatles fan than I am a Rolling Stones fan. And this is in, I believe, first pressing of Abbey Road in the shrink. It's not sealed, but it's in the shrink in amazing shape, and it's bought at Sears and has the original Sears sticker and the price tag on there. Super awesome to find that, especially for $9. Then we got a few more here. I was looking for a lot more Bob Marley stuff. They actually had a good bit of stuff of albums. I wanted to get this one. I know this is a good one. This is Bob Marley and the Wailers, Natty Dread. I paid $5 for it, and it's in really good shape. And I think they like visually grade all these records, and they usually grade it like way below what it actually is. They graded this at Good Plus, which really should be pretty scratched up and really not a very great copy. I cleaned it and I played it, and it's like it plays very, very well. I don't know why they graded it at Good Plus. Like, I really got into Parliament in the last couple years, and so I was trying to get a lot of Parliament stuff. This album, it's an earlier Parliament album, and I kind of expected it to not be the same as their more popular stuff. This is Chocolate City by Parliament, and I didn't really like this as much as their other albums, like more popular albums, but still, cool to add to my collection. I paid $15 for this, which it's whatever. Yeah, it's fine. Cool to get, cool to find. Then here we got 3 more. Now, they had some Yardbirds albums there, and I got, I believe, 2 other Yardbirds albums in similar condition to this that are in a different haul. But this is just the Yardbirds' greatest hits, and it is in like mint condition. Like this, as well as the other albums, I was like looking at like, is this really a first or like original pressing? And I look at the matrix numbers and I look at everything, and everything seems like legit. The way it's made and everything is everything makes it seem like it's a first pressing, but it's like weirdly perfect. Like, I don't know if I've found albums from this time in this good of shape before. Like, it's like mint. So this is crazy to find. But out of all of them, this is probably the least interesting, just because it's the greatest hits album. But still, Yardbirds' greatest hits, awesome album, really cool to find. I paid $6 for that. In my other haul, I bought another bunch of Beatles albums that were in really good shape, and then I went back and I got this one. This one, it's in very, very good shape. There's a little bit of wear you can see, but for the most part, it's really nice. This is an original stereo copy of the early Beatles. There you can see a little tiny bit of wear on the cover, but it's a really nice copy. Yeah, like I'm really big into the Beatles. I have a ton of Beatles albums, but I realized that a lot of my copies of like early US albums, like the early Beatles and similar albums, like compilation albums, they are not in the best shape ever, and so I was kind of making a point to look for copies that were more on the cleaner side. And then so finally, this album was such a surprise to get. I paid $23 for it, which still is a really, really good price. It's hard for me to rate my favorite albums when I'm such a big Beatles fan. In my top 5, I might put all Beatles albums. I count Sgt. Pepper's as my very favorite album of all time. And if I don't pick any Beatles album as my number 2, I would pick this album, The Zombies, Odyssey and Oracle. This album is amazing. This, however, this exact pressing is an original US pressing, which they destroyed the cover. Like, the original cover design was super psychedelic and really awesome, and they then, for the US pressing, took a little tiny section of that original cover and blew it up and then added this text on it. It's so stupid, but it's really cool to get an original pressing of this album, period, because original UK pressings of this album with the original cover and everything, they go for a ton. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get a copy of it, but this is my next best option. And this was so cool to find. I immediately picked it up and put it in my stack. There was very little thought involved. I just knew I had to buy it. So, super crazy to find. And I was super excited about it. But yeah, so that is that haul. Again, super awesome haul. A lot of records in there, a lot of really clean records in there. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I look forward to showing you some more records in my next video. Thanks.